On this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, we've got more stories of killer dogs, Dear Mojo, and our special guest Julius Hoke from StatesVegas Radio. All that and more on this episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where two guys take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, and you, the listener, are getting a degree in common sense. We are broadcasting from the Busted Knuckles studio right here in beautiful downtown historic Concord, North Carolina. I'll be your host, Biggin, and how about you? We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to the second half of this flaky biscuit. That's right, I am talking about the pride of Anderson, South Carolina, but most of you probably know him best as the Silver Tongue won 2016's Honorable Mention Father of the Year, the inventor of the Redneck Egg Roll. Give it up on old Mike number one. He sits across the way. It's Mojo.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, buddy.
Appreciate you guys tuning in once again. This is the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, as he mentioned. You can find us on the interwebs at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, pretty much anywhere except the traditional radio, I guess. Anyway, go there if you can. Please like, subscribe, give us a share. Man, we appreciate all you guys out there listening, especially all our new listeners. And, man, it's crazy looking at all the cities that are now tuning in to the last few episodes. Please do that. You can also follow us on the Instagrams and Twitter, SFP Radio. I pretty much suck at posting anything there, but Biggins pretty good at it. Yeah, and just connect with us. If you want to see a certain guest, please send us an email at sfpradio@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to be on the radio, think you have an interesting story for our podcast, please send it. Love to chat with you. I mean, we're just normal people talking about normal things and like to talk to other people with normal lives. So there you go.
Well, that's a spiel for.
So how you be doing?
Man, I'm good. I've got this crud thing going on.
You sound like a 15-year-old boy going through puberty right now.
Hey, brother.
Hey, cracking.
Yeah. So it's just allergies, and the thing about allergies, it gut punches. And listen, I know I'm a man. But men, we don't handle being sick very well.
We can get our arm cut off and handle that better than the allergies.
I would much rather lose a toe, and I'd be like, I'm fine with that.
I'll walk it off.
Yeah, I'll rub some dirt on it. I'll be fine. But the moment where I'm like, my insides hurt, I'm done.
Let me tell you the good news.
What's that?
We haven't even hit pollen season yet here in the South.
Hey, buddy.
The old yellow dust.
I've got the Ryobi ready to charged up with a little drill bit, ready to just go straight through my nose. I get a little socket,
there you go,
drain hole right there. But anyway, I tell you what, we talked early on previous shows about the Mandela effect. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of tell our listeners a little bit about Mandela?
To put it simply, Mandela effect is a conspiracy out there, but I personally believe it because it's just crazy. Some of the things,
100%.
Basically, for example, you will remember something a certain way, and then be presented with new information, and it wasn't exactly how you remembered it. I guess to simplify it, one of the most common things is the Berenstain Bears. Mm-hmm. So growing up, I always thought it was STEIN, Berenstain Bears. Well, come to find out,
it's not.
30 years later, it's not. So there's a lot of conspiracies out there with time warp and
alternate universes, those type of things,
stuff like that. But yeah, so that's a Mandela effect.
And so I was driving home the other day down on Church Street, and there's a Hardee's, and I saw a sign that said Fruit Loop Donut. Well, I automatically think, wow, that's really disgusting. I can't even get behind that. But I see how it's spelled, F-R-O-O-T. Mm-hmm. And for a minute, I think, is this the Mandela effect?
Right.
Because I think that it should be spelled F-R-O-O-T.
Right.
But in my head, I'm like, I'm seeing the box and it's F-R-U-I-T. And I had to Google it to see, is that the Mandela effect? So
yeah, I guess that's a great example, and I can't even remember myself because you just recognize the icons on the package. Mm-hmm. As a kid, you're like, I want that one because that's Fruit Loops. You didn't know, you really didn't know by the spelling. You know by the iconography on the box.
Right.
So, by the way, Hardee's offering Fruit Loop donuts. Okay, you got to think these things. I don't know. I haven't had them, and I'm guilty of actually stopping at Hardee's on the way here and grabbing a burger real quick.
Right.
But
you did not pick up the donut, though.
I did not pick up the donut. But how fresh can these things be? I wonder.
Well, did you see that McDonald's also this week released their own donut?
Oh, really?
It's like just it's from the packaging, it looks like a take off the Burger King French toast stick. Like long kind of flat type thing.
Right.
So they decided they were going to release them. Well, I had to take the wife down to the airport on the way home, and I'm like, hey, I know McDonald's is releasing these donuts. I'm going to try them. So I pull around. You get 6 for like $1.89. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to save you $1.89 because those things were disgusting. It was a complete waste of $1.89. And normally I'm the guy that I'm like, I'll eat them.
Well, the good thing is, or the sad thing is, you could have gone to the grocery store, picked up a Little Debbie 6 or 10 pack of the Dunkin' sticks, which are
bless a bear.
Those things are so delicious.
I love the Dunkin' sticks, especially when you bite them and they hurt your teeth. Like, oh man, that was a good one.
I will straight punch my kid in the face when she's going for them, because my parents have a fully stocked pantry of just junk food. And they, when we go down to visit, she always grabs a bag and just loads it with junk food, because I don't keep junk food in my house. But I'm telling you, I will straight up punch her in the face for a Dunkin' stick.
Sure, no doubt. I mean, they are delicious, but do not go and get the McDonald's donut sticks. Those things are god awful.
Point taken.
So, how you be doing?
I'm doing good. Just hate to see you sick, but daughter's sick. But it's just that time of year here in the South where we go through that. We're in the midst of season 6 or something like that. We have 13 seasons here in the South, so we had our fake winter. Now we have kind of our first fake spring. We're about to go back into another fake winter. But everyone's just gets sick. I hate to see it. So
it's just drainage. It's just you did text me a couple of messages this I think it was Tuesday, where you were binging on some Netflix shows. Yeah. What were the ones that you
well, I had a down day, just one of those days where I had nothing going on, just doing paperwork at my house and just watching. But I watched was it Abducted in Plain Sight, I think? I watched that one. Wow.
Good night.
I know I'm white, but I'm not that white. Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine being that naive.
Oh my gosh.
To allow the things that I mean, we can do spoilers if we want for anyone watching it.
If you haven't watched it, just fast forward like 4 or 5 minutes. We don't want to spoil it for you, but go ahead, man. Could you believe that?
Yeah. I don't know it being the time period or the region they were in, because I know that, the time period is a little bit simpler times.
Sure.
You could actually, your kids could actually ride outside, ride their bikes outside and not have to worry about, a lot. And also know that it was kind of like in rural, not Utah, but the adjacent state, Idaho. So they're in Idaho. So, I mean, obviously, you probably don't have nothing really happens there.
Right.
I mean, so I understand that kind of plays a factor. And also, this family is Mormon, which is very conservative. So obviously their circles of trust are very conservative people. So I get all that.
I get you on that.
But man.
Y'all.
I wonder, I'm almost wondering what I can say right now, just because I was kind of sympathetic up until the point where the dad goes, he gave the guy a rub.
Careful. At what point did you like, this is absolutely insane? The daughter was missing for like 5 days, and then they were like, maybe we should call the police after 5 days. Like in 5 minutes, goofy, you start like going nuts.
Yeah, when my kid doesn't answer her text when she's upstairs, I get a little crazy. So she was about chores, but But no, I just couldn't imagine 5 days. And the creepy part where the guy comes out, the perpetrator comes out to the family as he's in this like going through therapy, counseling, and the counselor, who happens to be an unlicensed counselor, tells him he needs to listen to these series of happy thought tapes or whatever stories, kind of in the voice of actually kind of an erotic voice, to listen to listen to these tapes beside the young lady who he's perpetrating acts against.
Which he kidnapped to go to Mexico, by the way. And so this is part of his therapy to get out of that. And here's the deal. Like I agree when he said, I need you to help relieve some stress. I'd be out. I love you and I will do anything for you. But if we're ever in a car together and you say, I need you to relieve some stress, I'm out.
By the way, there's going to be an opportune time on the Bourbon Trail. It's coming up, and I'm going to break out that line.
Oh my gosh. And then she goes, she's kidnapped, goes to Mexico, comes back, and then the mom says, okay, you can go to their
Frankie's Fun Park.
Yeah. Some like amusement park, and you can stay the summer there. Oh, yeah. Absolutely not. So, what is going on with these parents?
Y'all. Not trying to cast blame all in their direction, but I got to pretty much cast blame in their direction because just not seeing things, not communicating as a family. But yeah, you letting your 12, 13-year-old daughter spend copious amounts of time with this guy who
is 40
and I didn't know what to expect from this series, but holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was a derail.
Yeah, it was a train wreck from get-go.
The thing where I was just like, I'm done with the parents is when the parents were like, well, we could have put him away, but we didn't want all that stuff to come out that we had extramarital affairs. Right. So we put our needs in front of our daughter and sold our daughter out. That's where I was like, I'm done with the parents. I'm out.
Yeah, and but also the system too. The system failed this family in more ways than one.
But the FBI was trying. Be like, I am trying to get this guy locked up.
I know that, but now a family like this where there's blatant possible blackmailing involved, where the family doesn't want to testify. There's roundabouts now where they can still continue. The state can process
now, but maybe not in 1970.
Oh, you're probably right. You're probably right. But as a father, if someone hurt my kid, I don't care if I'd been guilty of it myself. I would have taken care of business myself. There's plenty of open land and with crocodiles and marshes and things like that.
In Idaho.
Hey, I'd put them in a potato patch if I had to in Idaho.
Goodness gracious. It's crazy. So even speaking about crazy things, let's go into some wacky news. This is brought to you by Webmerized. If you need a clean, crisp website, go check out our friends at Webmerized.com. That's Webmerized.com on our sponsors link on our show. All right, so listen, I am trying to be like Paul Revere here. Guys, there's more stories about dogs attacking people. I don't know what it's going to take to get everybody's attention to wake up to realize I think that dogs are somehow on the internet when we go to sleep and they're in a chat room all together and be like, hey guys, I think I'm going to go attack my owner tonight. Well, I'm going to go attack these guys tonight. I'm going to go take out these alpacas tonight. There's got to be some type of communication, some committee meeting that these dogs are having.
I think this is George Orwell's Animal Farm, where all the animals are starting to communicate.
Yeah.
They're going to take over because, besides the dogs, we've had, bear attacks. We've had
mountain lions,
coyotes coming out, and just people. They're doing these things that aren't part of their natural habit.
Yeah, I think there was a TV show called Zoo where that kind of happened.
That was kind of spooky.
Y'all, a South Carolina woman, 52, dies after being mauled by her own dogs. South Carolina woman died Thursday when she was mauled by her own dogs, despite neighbors trying to fight them off. For some reason, her dogs just decided to attack her.
Just
snapped and took care of her. Y'all, how many times do I have to tell you, don't get animals that can kill you?
Maybe the woman was being blackmailed by their dogs for stuff that we don't know about. Who knows?
And here we go. Here's another story out of Louisville, Kentucky. 2 donkeys are now found mauled to death several miles from where the 8 llamas were killed last week.
Oh, for the mysterious animal?
For the mysterious animal.
Wow.
Chupacabra, dog,
Bigfoot,
Yeti, I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
But mysterious animals are killing people and other humans and other animals. I don't know what's going on.
This is Kentucky, so somebody has a Roman Uncle Cletus just walking around who's probably up on the hooch. Just make sure You take an accountability of all your uncles and cousins out there, making sure they're all
Sure.
safe and sound. 2
animals named Hootie and Guido, that sounds bad, were found dead Sunday morning by their owner. The woman said that she thought that there would be some type of noise that the donkeys would make, at least to wake her up. She didn't hear anything, woke up, and the 2 animals were dead. They don't know what did it. Y'all.
Yeah, well.
Y'all,
and we're going to Kentucky when I'm hoping to catch this perpetrator before we head up there, because
y'all,
I've seen how these movies start and end. That's right.
That's a whole nother movie.
Wrong turn, Bo.
All right, you talk about a mom being prepared. A mom on a 10-hour flight, she hands out over 200 bags of candy, earplugs in case the baby cries.
Oh, that's nice.
A mother on a flight from Seoul to San Francisco was worried that her 4-month-old child would disrupt other passengers, so she handed out peace offerings in advance for any inconvenience. They had Korean candy, earplugs, and a note apologizing ahead of time on the 10-hour flight. They said that the baby did not make a noise.
Wow.
The entire 10 hours.
But you know what? That's very thoughtful.
Wasn't that very
That's when
nice?
I have hopes in humanity sometimes, when you have individual acts like this where they're actually looking out for other people. That's
Isn't
pretty
that
awesome.
great?
Yeah.
I thought that was a good story.
I'm going to give that idea to my wife the next time we when we fly together. That way she can hand out packages and stuff like that for me when I start whining. That are we there yet?
My wife would take me in Houston to like a Hobby Lobby store. And it's just a giant fun factory for women, I think is. Like, it's awful.
You can do anything. Macrame to crochet to any of the shades.
It's awful. And she would give me a Jamocha shake from Arby's. And then we would go in. And by the time I got done, she was like, that's it. I'm done. Like, I got to wrap this thing up and check out because my Jamocha shake was empty.
It's done, yeah.
So that's the time limit.
That's a great idea.
So that's how she gets me through that, and IKEA and all those other places I don't want to be at. So anyway, so that's our wacky news brought to you by Webmerized. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have some hot topics and our special guest, Julius Hoke from StatesVegas Radio. We'll be back. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. Do you know it takes a customer 3 seconds to decide whether to stay or leave your website? That's why a crisp, clean, and user-friendly website is one of the best ways to market and help and grow your business. At Webmerized Web Design, we offer that and much more. They pride themselves in offering their clients professional websites at affordable prices. Are you a small business? No problem. We can cater to small businesses by working with their clients every step of the way to meet their needs and expectations. Their number one goal is to partner with their clients to help and grow their business with a successful website. They work for every client, no matter the size. So if you'd like a great website, go to webmerized.com, webmerized.com, or you could check out their link on the sponsors link of our website. If you mention the word Biggin, you'll get 10% off your website design order. Again, webmerized.com. Check them out. All right. Thank you, Webmerized, for sponsoring the show. And now time for some hot topics. Let me go ahead and give us the disclaimer. The views and opinions of Southern Fried Philosophy are not necessarily those of our guests, sponsors, or friends of the show, but they should be. All right, so what say you, Mojo? The North Carolina legislators are now considering a bill to give schools higher grades for lower scores with a new scale. In Raleigh, North Carolina, there's a bill, House Bill 145, proposes a new model still grading school performance on a scale from A to F, but now changing their percentages. So an A would be 85% or higher, a B would be 70 to 84, a C would be 55 to 69, a D would be 40 to 54%, and an F would be less than 40%. I think traditionally now it's like the 10-point scale. A is 90 to 100, so on and so forth. What do you think about that one?
Well, at first appearance, I think I'm going to go ahead and give this a grade of stupid. So I guess it would be a grade of S. But no.
It's not on the chart.
Well, I'm going to create my own, evidently.
Okay.
We can just throw manufacture whatever we want.
There you go.
I'd like to understand the reasoning behind this. And I guess the article probably doesn't
even go that. It just tells you that much.
I would like to understand the reasoning and probably who brought it up and to kind of get some context on this. But on the surface, I think this is very irresponsible on behalf of an entity that we pay taxes to as taxpayers.
That's a good point.
So I think this is highly irresponsible. I'm pretty sure, just on the surface, looking at this, that this is nothing more to make schools less accountable for teaching our young. That we're not holding these kids to a standard. We're actually lowering our expectations of them because we're trying to get everyone to I guess, increase our graduation rates to whatever it may
everybody
be.
Got an A.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. What's the next step? We're just going to stop grading altogether and doing participation trophies, as far as kids. So I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah.
I'm not even really a fan of the traditional education model, but it's what we have. And I think lowering these scores right now is just going to send a bad signal, to these kids. Like, my daughter prides herself on being a B and C student. Now she has a wider berth to be that B and C student.
Well,
so
she's now going to be an A and B student. How about you?
I hate that. I hate that because it celebrates mediocrity, and I do not like that. You don't have to strive to achieve anything.
Yeah, other states have the same thing. I remember I moved from St. Louis down to Florida, and they had the 15-point scale here. And hey, buddy, I was rocking it there.
Oh yeah, awesome. Like, hey, Dad, I'm a low A student. Oh, that's great. Yay. I mean, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I think Florida is Common Core. Well, was they've just now got rid of that system, and I think things like this, the grading scales like that, are probably an increased. I think a lot of those things may have some roots to Common Core theory, where you're just basically trying to increase your numbers, and I just don't, like I said, I hate that. I mean, are they going to increase the DUI level from 0.08 to let's just say 0.16? I mean, we're going to allow more people. I mean, just the logic behind this would be fascinating to hear why they have increased that.
Yeah, I don't know. I really want to hear more information about it, but I agree with you.
I think we may need to reach out to whoever sponsored it, and just kind of, or Lieutenant Governor Dan Forrest, who was on our show, and just kind of get some. I'd like to understand more.
Yeah, I would also like to hear more. I'm agreeing with you. I think that it just shows mediocrity for folks, and just lowering the standard isn't going to help any. So,
I mean, I wonder what, like I said, I wonder what other state tests they'll like lower the, acumen to pass. And were they going to lower the driving test for truck drivers? Are they going to lower the written and lower standard driving standards for teenagers? I mean, I'm very low regulation, but holy crap! I mean, schools are going to be looking at these kids, and I wonder if it's going to drop the like outside universities or North Carolina actually reaching in to pull kids like top people out. I mean, because on the surface, hey, they're a straight A student, but hey, they averaged 84 or 85.
I mean, that it was like less than 40% was an F.
Yeah, like
you got to do really bad on a test.
You could show up and misspell your name on a test and get an F.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that the F, it was below. When I was in school, it was 69 and below was an F.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to try to make a D. Now you don't really have to even try to make a D.
Well, now you don't even really have to try to make an A. Yeah. At 85, that's...
You show up, misspell your name, and just go down the old random dots and fill,
the Christmas tree?
Yeah. And then make a Christmas tree. You probably have a B or a C or an A.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid, man.
Yeah. I mean, I know the kids will love it. It wouldn't be in effect until the 2019-2020 school year.
Still, though.
But, that's next year.
Yeah,
so,
still.
Anyway, did you see this the story about a man who buys $540 of Girl Scout cookies so that they could escape the cold?
Yeah, and I thought, man, what a great, heartwarming story to see the
out
news
of Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, great, my hometown.
Yeah.
And yeah,
a gentleman, just some background, an anonymous gentleman goes and buys $40 worth of cookies. It's a very cold night. It's like 38 degrees out. Buys $40 worth of cookies, and then he comes back and he's like, "How much is left?" They said $540 worth. He said, "Done. Just pack it all up. Get into the warm. You don't have to deal with it anymore."
Right.
And I've bought all your cookies. Great
heartwarming story, man.
Yeah.
What a awesome story of generosity.
Right. Then it derails. Then
the next day.
Then the next day. Then they find out that he is he's wanted for.
DEA is looking into him for distribution of fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, meth. I mean, all the heavy hitters. The All-Star League of Drugs. He's being suspected of possibly trafficking and distributing this.
I mean, you talk about a failed PR experience.
Ooh.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, if you're a criminal, probably need to hide away from doing.
Yeah, I would think that any type of social media selfie post would probably not be good.
Good call.
Especially doing anything with cash
and Girl Scouts, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, you didn't write him a check. I guarantee you that.
Oh no.
Where's their powdered sugar on my cash? I don't know, honey.
He did not write a $540 check for nutritional and 7-day workout like Jussie Smollett did. He should have. Then that way they can question the legitimacy of it.
Speaking of the legitimacy of things, one of our highest viewed and commented on posts on our Facebook page this week was how you cut toast. I thought, out of all the things that are happening in this entire world, how to cut toast, I don't think that's a big story, but people are passionate about cutting toast.
Yeah, I think maybe they needed a distraction from the normal outrage on the social medias, So,
yeah. So number one was cutting it sideways.
Diagonal.
Mm-hmm. Then the other one was if you lay it normal, lay a piece of toast down, cut it right down the middle. Mm-hmm. The other one was sideways, where it was cut in the middle long ways. Mm-hmm. And so that was the three different options.
Right.
What say you? How do you cut your toast?
Probably the diagonal, but that's just restaurant days because just presentation.
Why does a restaurant do it? Cut it.
Just it elongates it. It makes presentation looks a little. Just more plate presentation.
I said when I want to be fancy, I cut it that way.
Yeah.
I always feel fancy cutting it diagonally.
Right.
But people were saying if you just get a piece of bread, laying it and cutting it horizontal, that you're a monster. I don't. To me, you can get more of a sandwich cutting it, in half instead of long ways instead of sideways. I don't.
Well, see, the Waffle House cuts it like that.
Do they?
Oh, their toast, yeah. If you ever go, well, I shouldn't say all of them because I've actually been to some Waffle House and do the fancy diagonal.
Why are you getting toast at a Waffle House?
Because it comes with almost everything. You get a cup of water, they throw toast.
No, not with a smothered and covered. If you just get that, maybe because I'm ordering a biscuit all the time. Maybe that's it. But I'm not a monster, guys. You can get more material on cutting it that way than you can the other way.
Well, you think so. In your mind.
In my mind.
In your mind.
That's it.
So.
All right, so here's the heavy hitter. You want to talk about this new bill that just got passed, the post-birth abortion bill. Here we go.
All right, so obviously this is probably a couple-week-old story now. In January 22nd, there was a thing called the New York's Reproductive Health Act was signed by Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo. Is scheduled on the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, which was back 76, I think. Mm-hmm. So obviously that was kind of a PR stunt, I guess. But basically, this law gives unfettered full access to abortions after 24 weeks. And 24 weeks has been considered a standard for when a baby is viable. So I know a lot of times when we're talking about issues like this, it's very sensitive. So I want to be fully cognizant of, women who out there. Look, I'll state this ahead of time. As a couple, my wife and I, we couldn't have children the traditional method. We, adopted, and we also use science technology. So if there's any woman out there that is or knows of, and or is kind of turned off by two guys talking about reproductive rights, I'll be right here to simply state, if you're looking for someone to adopt your potential unborn baby, please reach out to the show at sfpradio@gmail.com because I will put my mouth where yeah, I'm sorry, I will put my actions where my mouth is about to speak. So,
whoa,
so
careful, buddy.
I mean,
It's a family show.
we would love to adopt again, and our home is open. So, with that caveat, I'm kind of sticking to that gun, but. So we can debate on and on, for anything before 24 weeks. I full disclaimer, I believe abortion is reprehensible. I don't think it is a means of contraception, as some people think, or pregnancy prevention. I think it's detestable. I think you're making a woman who is trying to make a best decision in their mind at the time, a future victim of traumatic circumstances with PTSD and things like that. So I don't believe in that. I don't believe that it's just a woman's right. I believe that that life of that child is the innocence that Christ talks about in the Bible, that the innocence that we truly all believe before we come get soiled by the mire of this world. So I have a hard time when people try to stand up in defense of a woman's right to choose, when ultimately it is a woman's right to choose. I'm in full blown libertarian mode when I believe people own the rights that are private, individual private rights, but I do disregard that one right, because you also have another living entity that is a human being that has some type of consciousness at the time. So, plus, I challenge you to go watch an abortion video. I think that will change your mind after that. I mean, it sure did my stance. But this bill allows women up to the moment of actual birth to change their mind and say, no, I don't want this baby, and they can actually go in and abort the child. Through partial birth abortion to chemical needs like that. This abortion bill actually goes a step further and allows any baby that has been delivered through a botched abortion to remain on the table and refuse life support, even though that baby is now in this world. This baby's now breathing the same oxygen that we are, expelling the CO2 out of its lungs. The doctor has the right to refuse life-saving measures due to the mother's choice.
Well, and the key word that they use on that is the mother's health. Before, it was the life of the mother, right? If the life of the mother was in jeopardy, now it's the health of the mother. And that's a very key differential, because now it's not life, it's health. And health can mean so many different things, whether it be physical health, whether it be emotional health, whether it be financial health, mental health, anything that the woman's like, this is going to cause me harm or distress. There's no legal recourse for her to say, I don't want it.
Right.
And so that's the part that really has me very concerned and disgusted as well for you. And then what happened to the Hippocratic Oath from the doctors? Like they have to take the oath to say, I will support and help anybody who comes in that needs treatment. What about this baby? Yeah. At that point, you've got to say, that's life, and right. you've got to be able to provide health and services for that life.
Well, and also, I think fundamentally, by the numbers, abortion is racist. And let me back that up and clarify that.
Send your emails to Mojo at SFP Radio. I'm just kidding.
Mojo at SFP Radio. I fundamentally, abortion is racist. 76% of the kids that are aborted today are aborted in black communities. Think about that for a second. Only 24% 76% of all kids that will be aborted happen in the black community. That's generations of future doctors, future teachers, future leaders, sports stars, philosophers, musicians that have been lost, that we will never get back.
Yeah. These
are people that could cure cancer. These are people that could develop a way to go to Mars. And here we are. Yeah. We're eradicating them. This is genocide. We get to see World War II history novels and documentaries on History Channel, But hopefully one day we will actually talk about the unborn genocide. It breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does.
Yeah.
And not only that, though, just, it was exposed last year. Planned Parenthood sells organs from these aborted babies. Just like meat out of a slaughter plant.
Yeah.
And it just breaks my heart.
Well, even New York decided that they saw the hypocrisy. Remember, there was a law that if you killed a pregnant woman, you could be put up on 2 life charges.
Right.
Now they've revoked that and said now it's just 1. So, I mean, we have gone above and beyond ridiculous now at this point.
Yeah.
This whole movement of even AOC said, well, maybe you shouldn't have children because you're bringing them up in a bad world because there's farting cows everywhere.
Right.
Y'all, like, what is going on?
Well, I think, which is kind of ironic for AOC to say do not have kids. And here's the reason why. Because in talking about the new Green Deal that she came up with, the new Green Deal has actually come back from a budget committee analysis. It will cost $90 trillion to implement this plan.
Yeah.
Our current debt is $22 trillion. It took us over 200 years to accumulate $22 trillion in debt. Now she's going to add on a $90 trillion added bonus. Let me go ahead.
Just if you're keeping a score at home, that's $60,000 per household.
$600.
Is it $600,000?
It's $60 per individual.
I forgot
or 600,000.
Yeah, I didn't carry the O.
But that's crazy numbers. If you were to right now, if you look at just billionaires alone, because you hear Bernie and you hear crazy Uncle Bernie, and now Alexandria Cortez talk about taxing the billionaires. If you were to fully tax every billionaire, which I think there's like over 1,000 billionaires now in America, if you were to fully tax them 100% for every dollar that they made, so if they earned $1, they got to pay $1 in. If you were to fully tax them and confiscate every bit of wealth that they currently have, you would still only accumulate $2.7 trillion.
Wow.
So remember,
we're selling Wyoming, so then that's another $1 trillion.
Yeah, well, but I'm kind of curious if AOC graduated from a school that had a 40, where an F is a 40, and you can actually accumulate an A, between 75 and 100. I mean, this is ridiculousness, and but it's kind of ironic hearing AOC talk about how kids don't need to be born now. Maybe they shouldn't, because she needs every baby and every aborted baby to actually pay the taxes and to work in the system to pay for this boondoggle she calls New Green Deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you think she would just want them just as workers in her future communist utopia that she dreams of.
Well, that then to get rid of the farting cows.
Well, I'm trying to. I ate a couple burgers today, so I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying.
It's just, guys, we've gone off the deep end, and we're screaming. I'm screaming about the killer dogs. You're screaming about the hypocrisy and the craziness of the government. Guys, I mean, we've lost our ever-loving mind.
The same person that same person that uplifts a woman's right to do whatever they want to with their body and doesn't protect the unborn is the same person that probably cries over an ASPCA pet commercial.
Yeah.
And that just, the absurdity right there, just maybe AOC is correct. Maybe we don't need to have kids anymore, because I mean, honestly, if we're going down this path, I just don't know how successful we're going to be in the future.
Yep. All right, so we're going to do a bit that we've done in the past. If you're new to the show, you may not have known what we're about to do. We do a bit called Dear Mojo, where we're going to ask Dear Abby questions, and then Mojo is going to answer them like he would, and then we'll kind of see if they match. So here is the Dear Abby. Dear Abby, 9 months ago, I met this incredible guy, and we fell in love. We got along so well. He's smart, good looking. He has a great career, and there doesn't seem to be any problems. So far, so good. 6 months later, he casually mentioned that we are political opposites. Now, I'm not that big on politics, and we all have reasons for being conservative or liberal, but when I ask him to explain his ideology, he answers with a simple, to slam the other side. Is it ridiculous for me to end my relationship based on this? To me, it indicates that we have very different morals and values. I made my position on social issues clear from the beginning, but he thinks I'm foolish to worry about things that, quote, aren't true and or, quote, won't affect me personally. I feel misled and betrayed, but I miss him a lot. I don't fall in love easily, and getting over this has been difficult. Am I overreacting? Signed, Principled in Texas.
Just show up with your Make America Great Again hat. You'll get your answer right there. No, actually, I think, there's been studies have actually shown that since the 2016 election, there's been actually an uptick in a little bit of divorces due to, it used to be the old cliche of financial or, extramarital, things like that. But now, growing division in politics and not agreeing on social issues is actually on the uptick as far as reasons for divorce. So I would take this as a kind of a blind blessing in disguise from, a provincial hand above saying that maybe this isn't the right union. Number one, maybe this guy isn't mature enough to fully be able to separate his ideology beliefs to, actually to his personal relationship. So I would definitely consider this a guiding hand. I think social issues and political issues can come into a marriage. I think those things can divide. My wife and I have been married for 22 years, and we don't agree on everything. We are staunchly divided on certain things, but you have to have that maturity through weathering the storm through marriage. I mean, to come to that realization where you can actually part and not part.
Wow, and that you nailed it. Dear Abby said, while some couples can discuss their differences, political and otherwise, in your case, your, quote, incredible guy seems unable to intelligently discuss them or articulate the reasons for his beliefs without denigrating yours. Without mutual respect, relationships usually fail.
Bingo.
So good job. You nailed it. All right, here's the next one. Dear Mojo, about a year ago, a good friend, Beth, went through a violent tragedy and destroyed her family. Oh, that's not good. My husband and I own a small waterfront property, so during the months following, I took Beth away for the weekend, so hopefully to allow her some healing and emotional recovery. She then asked me to go again, and when I couldn't go, she asked if her friend could go, whom I hadn't met before, and she asked me to go again with her new boyfriend. I agreed on both of these trips, even though this is our private vacation home. We never rent it out. No one has ever used it without us or even our family. Now she's asking again to use our place with her friend. I feel like a heel to refuse if we're not using this place, but I'm starting to feel a little used. Is it okay for me to tell her no because I'm uncomfortable with repeated requests, or am I just a bad friend? Signed, Taken Advantage of.
If you consider yourself a bad friend for not allowing them to use your house, please send your address and phone number to me so we can actually use your vacation home too. No one is entitled to the fruits of your labor. We've stated that many times on the show. No one is entitled to your hard-earned work to gather this lake house, to gather this spot that you've deemed for your personal family. If you felt necessary, you would have put it up on Airbnb or some website renting this thing out. So obviously it's your personal space, your personal domain. Sometimes people just read into a situation and not knowingly and unknowingly become thinking they're entitled to be able to use your spot or you don't mind. So I would back up, punt, and just say, look, guys, you're not entitled, and that was a one-time, two or three-time thing, but now I'm sorry, it's not available.
Wow, he's 2 for 2.
Oh.
You may have been generous on Beth. Unless you have explained it to her, she may not realize what a special favor you did for her by letting her use your waterfront house. From what you have written, your friend appears to be getting along with her life, so if you decline now, it shouldn't shatter her. So to do so would not be a bad friend. Good job. That's awesome. 2 for 2, buddy. You're nailing it. All right, here's the last one. Dear Mojo, we need some advice. Recently, we hosted our annual holiday party and invited all of our neighbors and friends. Our invitation stated that the party would run between 5 and 11:30, so our guests could attend other parties that night that might be going on. As our party was winding down, it was noticed that one of our guests, who had been at a previous party, had had wet themselves on our sofa and covered up the spot with throw pillows. We served wine and punch at our party, but this couple arrived pretty tipsy. In the future, should we just not invite these neighbors? We are very distressed about this. What do you suggest? Signed, Oops in the Midwest.
Put your little oxy powder on there and go right away. No, you know what? You got to, first off, you got to confront this couple. You got to let them know what happened. And if they don't want to take ownership, then they go to, number 2, which is banishment. And if they don't take the banishment, then you go to number 3, embarrassment.
Oh!
So, you got to talk to them about it. You got to let them know, see if they own up and fess up. If they make a big deal about it, then you opt for option 2 and 3. Option 4 is called Chuck Norris. He'll take care of everything.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. I'll give you credit on that one. That one was good. What she says is, Dear Oops, the guilty party should have owned up to what happened and offered to pay for having your couch professionally cleaned rather than trying to cover it up. If you are 100% sure one particular company, not inviting them to any more gatherings would absolutely guarantee that it won't happen again. P.S. Covering your future in waterproof slip covers when you entertain a crowd might be something you may want to consider in the future.
Hey, that or just having a stack of old newspapers when this couple comes and visits. That way they can place them on where they think they're going to take a pee.
Yeah, just put some kitty litter out just in case if they need to do that. Wow. All right. So we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have our special guest, Julius Hoke from StatesVegas Radio. We want to say a great shout out to our friend, Leon from Watchman Cigars. He sponsored that bit for us. So thank you, Leon. You're awesome. And we'll be right back. You're listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. If you are in the market for a high-quality cigar for a very reasonable price, you must check out Watchman Cigars. Watchman Cigars is a family-owned business that puts the customer first with the best customer service in the business. Watchman Cigars offers the Habano for a full, spicy flavor, the Connecticut for a mild, easy-to-smoke option, and the Maduro for a strong, powerful experience. They even do specialty blends and partner with you to provide a custom exclusive line just for you. Watchman Cigars has all your cigar needs. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Watchman Cigars 1991 or email Leon directly at Watchman_cigars@yahoo.com. That's Watchman_cigars@yahoo.com, or check out the sponsors section of our website. All right, we are back, and you are listening to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. In studio with us, we have Julius Hoke. He is the owner of StatesVegas Radio. However, owner, CEO, what do you want to call it there, Chief?
Yeah, whatever. Call me anything but late for dinner.
There you go. And so we wanted to have him on. We are on StatesVegas Radio, as we've said before earlier in the show, but wanted to have you on just to kind of talk about what is internet radio, what is StatesVegas Radio, how did you get started, and all that fun stuff.
Well, let me start with the name, I guess. That's what most people say, StatesVegas. What is that? Some people probably heard, a lot of towns have these little nicknames. I think there's actually a K Vegas. I think it's Kernersville. Have you ever heard? K Vegas. It's just kind of a play on words. I think it's actually almost kind of making fun of Statesville, But anyway, a good friend of mine actually has the name trademarked. Ooh. And he started StatesVegas Clothing Company. And basically what it is he takes all these businesses, like retro businesses. Like, for instance, we had a Mexican restaurant back in the day called LTO's. Okay. And it was actually run by white people. It was before.
Well, that ain't no good.
Well, it was before, there was a lot of, Mexican restaurants around. Okay. So it was just, it was back in the, 70s, early 80s, there was a Mexican restaurant, but it was, But it was good. But it was, it had a reputation, but it closed down. So he's doing LTO's T-shirts, States Vegas, and Elliot's Ice Cream is another one. Former businesses, kind of a
vintage
thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's actually really successful. A lot of
nice.
He does really well with it, and he has some of his own made up logos and stuff too.
Okay.
And he'll do T-shirts for just regular people. But anyway, he had it trademarked, and I asked him, I was starting the radio station. I've been a DJ for 26, 27 years now.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a mobile DJ.
Okay.
And, of course, I've heard my whole career at that is, what radio station did you work for?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, it's a different kind of DJing.
Even my father's like, so what what station can I catch you on? Dad, we're not on a radio station.
Right. But being the DJ, a lot of people assume that I, had some radio experience, and I'm like, no, just a music man, and do the weddings and school dances, the proms,
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, sometimes it might get accused of being the cheesy DJ, but no, not really. I mean,
everybody out for the electric slide.
Yeah, well, hey, I've played a couple.
How sick are you of the chicken song, the chicken dance? God bless a bear. I can't stand that song.
Yeah, it's we did an episode where I had 4 DJs, a show. I had 4 DJs come in, and we talked about stuff like that. The dislikes of the business and the likes and stuff, and we all pretty much agreed that even though it does suck, I mean, it is something that it's the go-to.
It's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, and you get the kids out there and the grandmas and even I'll do some 20-something weddings and. The guys are all cool, and they're 20 college guys, and
frat guys.
They're out there doing
it.
they're chicken dancing away. So, there's a famous video on YouTube of Vince Neil from Motley Crue doing the chicken dance at some party. I never forget that. Every time somebody says chicken dance and cheesy, I always remember Vince Neil doing the chicken dance.
Nice.
I think he caught some grief from that, but yeah, it's one of those things. I guess it's like when you're a musician that you get to. They say you get tired of playing that song, but when the crowd reacts and they're having fun, it's kind of. So you got to suffer through it. I don't even hear it anymore.
Yeah, you just hit a button and go, there you go.
And it's only 3 minutes. So.
The 3 minutes you'll never get back.
Right. And but I tell people, I don't play what I like when I DJ.
Sure.
Now with States Vegas Radio, I can do that a little bit, but still have to be really careful about the programming and I've been working on it. So it's been a process trying to figure that out. But.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how did it? You said the name just kind of from Statesville, but then how did you decide you wanted to do internet radio and you wanted to put this out for the folks?
Well, like I said, I'd always been asked about doing it, and I think I was just thumbing around the internet one day, and I seen a company that does hosting, and I started looking into it, started trying to figure out what all it entailed, and it was actually a pretty simple thing to do. I thought it is to an extent. Of course, the kind of person I am, I'm not happy with just being one way. I wanted to do it all, and it was a little more ambitious than I thought it was going to be. But I figured it out. In my investigations, I realized that internet radio, the average listener, I think, was like 25 or 26. So it was definitely a younger person's game. But I really thought the apps, having the app would kind of make it a little different for us and be able to get more listeners that way, old and young. Unfortunately, it's been a little difficult to getting people to understand. Like you said with your dad, what channel is it on?
Yeah, what's an app?
Yeah, I actually had somebody email me from the website, StatesVegasRadio.com. And there's actually a button on the homepage. You click the button and listen now, and it comes right up. Well, she emailed me from that page asking how to listen to the radio station. How do I listen to the music?
Let me Google that for you.
I'm like, push the button.
Oh, my goodness.
So yeah, there's that learning curve. But
sure.
We've got a year under our belts now, I think, in April.
Wow.
And it's been a little slower than I thought, but,
Yeah.
I keep grinding at it.
Sure.
It's only costing me a little bit. I don't want to say how much it's costing because my wife might be listening.
Yeah, exactly, right? You got to kind of lower that.
It's
those
not the
expectations.
it's not the most expensive hobby a man could have. So, but
I've been getting on this bend of like collecting bourbon. Like, the harder to find bourbons. Yeah. And so my wife is like, either you need to pick one. Either it's the podcast or it's the bourbons. You gotta figure it out. No, she's been great. So internet radio, how is that different than celestial radio? Like for our listeners, like what's the difference between the two?
Well, regular radio, actually most stations now, probably all of them are internet radio stations. That's true. Well. Yeah. I mean, they all, there's different ways of listening through TuneIn is a big one. Where you can actually go online or just go into the radio station's website and listen to it. But they're, regulated by the FCC. They are.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, they are over there, and depending on how big a station, you got your big Charlotte stations that you can hear, over half of North Carolina. We've got a couple local stations in Statesville that, might have a 10-mile radius. So you got to wonder how many people's actually listening to that, in that radius.
Yeah.
The internet is definitely a convenient way.
Sure.
It's just getting people to really understand it. It's a new medium, and people are, like I said, a little confused by it. They're like, well, what if I want to listen to it in my car? If you got a 1985 Ford Escort, you're not going to listen to it.
You're in trouble there.
You're not going to listen to it in your car. But I tell people, you just open the app and your Bluetooth in your car will pick it up.
Yeah.
So you can listen.
But you also have those AM, FM transmitters that you can plug into your cigarette lighter.
That's true.
Right.
If you have that 86 Escort.
Yeah. You can make your car Bluetooth compatible. I'm big on headphones. I've got my Bluetooth Beats, and I go to the gym, and I just open the app and
just let her eat.
Yeah, and it's like a Spotify or iHeartRadio app. Same type of thing. The only problem is with ours, you have to listen to what we're playing. You don't go in and make your own set list like Spotify or something.
So that's a little bit different than those type of things. But
so we have to make sure that we have something that people want to hear, and like I said, it's changed a lot. We do we're really trying to get some local stuff on there.
Okay.
I've been reaching out via Craigslist and some other mediums to try to get some regional North Carolina people at least to send me some MP3s. And if anybody's listening now, send your MP3s to StatesVegasRadio@gmail.com, and we'll get them on there. The Craigslist thing, there's some interesting MP3s I've got.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what are some of the crazy MP3s you've gotten from Craigslist?
Just, stuff that Pro Tools, there's a lot of programs you can get into now really cheap, and you can do some recording and maybe some untrained musicians to be nice.
Oh my gosh, I would pay you money for that to be our bumper music. Some of the worst, because we've documented your.
I'll send you some.
Yeah, you're like your secondhand embarrassment. We've documented that well on the show. Yeah. Man, could you imagine playing some of those things?
Just total ear candy.
Yeah. Well, starting out, my thoughts were maybe to just do all local, to bypass the licensing and just do, and right off the bat, I had some stuff sent to me that was great, and I still play it. Yeah. And I do a local show now from 11 to 1 called the Local Lunchbox, and it's all local music. I don't know if we got any in your area through yet, but a lot of Statesville, Mooresville, some Charlotte acts, and it's all over the place.
Nice.
It's a little bluegrass to pop to. I don't think we have any hip hop on there yet, but we've had a few sent in from the Craigslist thing.
I love the variety of music, because you'll go from like Biggie to like Norah Jones to like Garth, and you're like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah,
Big Daddy Weave.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, and like I said, I've got about probably right now, I've got 20,000 songs from my DJ business. So, I tried to mix it up. We did it to where we did like a couple hours of 80s rock, hair metal, and we did a couple hours of bluegrass, a couple hours of country, and then I was just like, you know what, let's like all mix it all together and see how that goes. I tell people it's definitely, if you're a music lover, you gotta, you know, and I think there's a lot of people kind of like that, that like, you know, like you said, Biggie, and then they'll like some, you know, some bluegrass, some Blackberry Smoke or something, or Widespread Panic, and then you got
it keeps you on your toes,
you know. So
it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, and I still, you know, I am going to get into some more designated blocks, you know, for those people that just don't want, you know. There's some people that. I mean, I sit and watch, you know, and I've got so many listeners and music. When it shifts directions, boom, you know.
Oh, yeah. So you can watch.
I can watch, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who's on there, but I know how many listeners and what they're listening on. I mean, if I've got people listening on desktops, if I've got people, and also too, I know who you guys talk about having the listeners.
Yeah.
Here and there. Yeah, that we've got the same thing. I can watch where they're from. It's got the world map right on there.
That's
and somebody. Cool. You know, listens in Canada or Australia. We've had a couple. We had one, United Arab Emirates.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
And I was like, whoa,
isn't that weird? You're like, where is that coming from?
Well, you know, it's
internet.
They might have been strolling through the App Store and saw it. That's the only thing I can think of. We're not actually on TuneIn. We didn't register for that yet.
Yeah.
We're just kind of waiting. Trying to get our content, you know, and reaching out to you guys and having you guys on there is a big help.
Cool.
We want to be about probably 50-50, I think.
Sure.
Music and shows. We don't want to be, you know, like I said, there's so many different outlets for music right now.
Sure.
Spotify, you can make your own playlist. So we feel like we have to have a little something different to offer people.
So let's talk about your shows. What are all the different shows that you have? I mean, I know Southern Fried is the best that you got.
well, I'll be honest. Southern Fried is very well produced. I was very impressed.
Thank you.
Especially, like I said, when you know, I got in contact with you guys through Craigslist. I was like, I don't know what we got here. Well, but you know, it's so funny because in this game, not to get off the subject, but production a lot of times doesn't really have that much to do with it.
Yeah.
Especially if you go into some of these guys that do YouTube only. They're not strict, you know, podcasters, but they do a series of video shorts or whatever. And I mean, I'll see these guys, and it looks like they're just, you know, they're in their, you know, in their closet. You know, they're using strictly the, you know, phone audio and phone, and they've got, you know, 30,000 followers.
Y'all, how are you doing that?
Like,
maybe we're doing it wrong. We should just do it on our phone.
Well, I think you know, they got in early.
Yeah,
I think that's
they've been in it for a minute.
Yeah, I think they started when YouTube didn't have, you know, as much as it does now. So, but yeah, the production's like terrible, and it's got all these people are watching. I'm like, how do I do that? You know? But it's
like those little kids that just like they have like unpackaging of their toys, and they've got a million viewers.
Yeah.
Like, how in the world?
Well, I got a seriously funny story. You know, been doing a few videos and stuff, and started the YouTube channel, and couldn't get anybody to subscribe. I'm like, subscribe. I put on Facebook, subscribe.
Yeah.
And they would watch some of the videos, but they wouldn't hit the subscribe button, you know? And I'm like, man, what's up with that? Or some of my Facebook videos, you know, you don't have that many views on or whatever. Well, one day I walked into my studio and I had a fan running, and I noticed the fan was off. I was like, the fan's not running. What's up with this? And I walked into we have like a green room. We have a couple different rooms. I walked into it, and I seen the fan wasn't running, and I put my hand on it, and it was really hot. The motor was hot. So I flipped on the light switch, and when I did, I looked, there was about a 6-foot long black snake.
No!
This was a pedestal fan.
No!
This wasn't a fan sitting on the floor. He crawled up the pedestal and crawled inside the screen and was wrapped around the fan blade. And about a foot of it was hanging out. And I was like, craziest thing I'd ever seen.
Oh,
a running fan, you know? So So I took a video, and I was telling people, oh man,
that one blew up.
Oh gosh, yeah, thousands of views, and I'm thinking to myself, I work hard on putting together a show.
It's a stupid one, so man.
It's like we talked about early on the show. Like one of our big Facebook posts this week was about how people cut their toast. Like really, that's a thing. Like people are upset about it.
I saw that video that had like 300 something million views as to where the squirrel got his manhood trapped in the fence slats.
Listen, for 3 million views, I would get my manhood caught in the fence slats.
We can organize that.
Make it happen. I would straight up do that.
Yeah.
Good gracious, it is. It's just it's a numbers game, but it's crazy. Right?
But it's all about having fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've met some great people, and some of the people that have come in and supported me. I sometimes in the back of my mind, I think to myself, do they think this is more than what it really is? I try to be honest with them and say, hey, this is growing. But we got a lot of good support.
Yeah. And that's really, that's the key to it, is just supporting everybody, like even just, one of our sponsors is Watchman Cigars, and he supports us like none other. Right. And then, we support him. So it's just a brotherhood and sisterhood of just trying to connect people and trying to help each other out.
Well, our Appetite for Discussion show, you were asking me about the shows before definitely. I got sidetracked with snakes and stuff.
Yeah. But, that'll throw me.
Yeah. Yeah, you came out of that seat, man.
I hate snakes.
We actually had a cigar guy on there that just opened a cigar shop down in downtown Statesville. So, he's very supportive. But that's one of our flagship shows, I guess. I reached out to Brandon Crouch, who's the host, when I started it, and I was like, hey, anybody, and I did that to everybody. I put post after post on Facebook. Anybody want to start a show? Yeah. Come into my studio for free. I'll help you. And it was kind of crazy because people, and then I didn't get some no shows, and then I had some 1 episode, 2 episodes, that kind of thing. And one of them was my kids. I wanted to do a teen show, which I thought was, because looking through YouTube and stuff, I didn't really see a lot of kids stuff. And I wanted to do a show. We called it Teen Talk, where it was my 2 teenage daughters. And it was kind of a variety show where they were doing some kind of the stuff you guys do a little bit with the news. And one of the things they had was Stump Me. So they would give a word like a slang. And
that's good.
And I'd have to guess what it was. Yeah. And we had some good stuff like that going on. And then part of the show was going to be 20, 30 minutes of seriousness. We wanted to do some serious teen matters that affect teenagers these days, and have some guests on and stuff. But they just didn't. They were all for it when I did all the work. But I told them, I said, okay, now you guys got to get line up a guest, line up do your work. And, they just didn't do it. So, and I wasn't gonna I said, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it for you.
Yeah, that could have made some money there.
Well, it's funny because we started a Facebook page for it and everything. And the unusual thing is we're getting all these friend requests or people are liking the page from Asia. I don't know what it is.
Oh boy!
But all these Asian.
Careful.
Well, yeah, no, but it's Asian teenagers. They love the Teen Talk show. Yeah, well,
that's what they say they are.
Yeah. Well,
maybe we should identify as a teenager then that way.
Well, there's nothing on the page, so
sure. Goodness.
So you have Appetite for Destruction. What type of show is that?
It's a variety show. He does one guest. He's off the cuff. The guy's pretty amazing. I'll have to give it to him. No script. I'm sure he does some mental preparations before he gets in there. But he brings in a local somebody. We have had some music guests. I'm trying to think. Just a little bit of everybody. You can check his YouTube page out. Appetite for Discussion.
Okay.
Which I love the name. I thought,
that's a great
such
one.
A cool name. Appetite for Discussion at YouTube, and he's got I think about 25 episodes on there now.
Nice.
So, and we air his show Fridays at 8 p.m.
Okay, so that's later in the evening.
Yeah, later in the evening. We're going to start rerunning some of it in different times.
Gotcha.
You know, we're trying to do blocks of shows like we blocked in with you guys. I think we got him airing. We got you guys on Monday, right?
Monday at 6 and then Friday at 4.
Yeah, and then we got Brandon at 8 after that. So
okay,
we're hoping that you guys will listen to you and then stick around and listen to him. But, you know, that might be a little ambitious, but you know.
I don't know. I think you'll find with the metrics. I mean, that people like AM, like AM stations or talk radio stations, especially.
Right.
I mean, people listen. Right. Like people are constantly been trained. Like, all right, I'm gonna listen to Rush Limbaugh from 12 to 3,
right.
Sean Hannity from 3 to 6. You know, so that's what people will do.
Well, my dad will just I don't know why I'm like dissing my dad a whole lot, but he'll just like leave on Fox News all day and then like hear the same thing.
That's because he can't find the remote or know how to change it.
That's probably it.
The batteries are dead. He keeps clicking the remote.
Yeah, my mom used to keep it on the Weather Channel. It was on the Weather Channel or Lifetime. I was like,
man.
Does this TV pick up anything other than that?
You pay $87 a month just to watch one
channels.
station. Yeah, come on now.
Right.
Well, you pay $87 unless you get the QVC channel on. Then your monthly bill should probably be like $7,600 or something like that from all the crap you buy from QVC.
Oh yeah. Are you a big QVC guy?
I haven't watched it in years.
My mom was, dude. You didn't know it was the pre-Amazon, right? So you would walk to the door and you were like, "What in the world is this?" Well, that's a clock I got. Well, why do we need a clock, Mom?
I'll have a confession though. I mean, when I was younger, like probably 13 or 14, and I grew up in a religious home. QVC was like the closest thing we could get to Playboy Channel. That's my confession.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, when they did the lingerie segment on there.
Oh my good night.
So yeah, I have.
It's funny because I was thinking the same thing.
I wonder how many listeners out there.
For real?
My age, 42. They're probably 35 to 42. That you back it up back then. Probably 13 around that. At 89, 90, 91, 92 mark, I guarantee you QVC was the closest thing to Skinamax.
I tell you, I had neck problems trying to figure out to watch the squiggly lines, try to figure out what was between the lines.
You got to shake your head really fast.
Yeah, if you shake it really fast, you can see something.
Well, another thing,
I think I saw a leg.
In the mailbox, you used to get the catalogs, you go to the lingerie section,
I don't know what you're talking about.
The JC Penney. Well, now kids got it on their phone.
Good, great. Don't even get me started.
I went into Victoria's Secrets to sign my mother up for a catalog.
That's funny. All right, so Appetite for Discussion. What are some other shows?
We have my show, the DJ Julius Show, which is pretty new. We're still working the bugs out. We've got a lot of musical guests that we bring in.
Nice.
And like I said, Brandon has some musical guests on his. Then we have probably the show that's been with us from day one is Little Toe and Frankie Show. They're on about 5 different radio stations. They're actually they do an over-the-air live show on Wednesday nights, and then we replay them Friday at 6 p.m. And they got a great show. They bring in some pretty remarkable musical guests. A lot. It's a lot of the same genre. It's kind of I'm trying to think, new age, widespread panicky type, that type of music, gotcha. Americana maybe, I guess you'd say. Okay. There's a lot of regional bands and stuff, so they've got some really good musicians on that show. And then they do some remotes too from a couple local breweries where they do some requests. Now they do play licensed music on their show as well. They play. So they'll play, the in-studio guest will play a song. They'll play, a regular song, country, and then they'll talk a little bit. It's probably more music than it is talking.
Gotcha.
It's not like you guys or Brandon show.
Yeah, we don't have a license, therefore we can't play the music. So whoopsie.
We also rent the studio so we can talk.
There we go.
Yeah, right. And I think people like the talk shows. Like I said, nothing against Little Toe and Frankie because the musical guests they have are pretty spectacular. But you have to be into that kind of music, so it's a little bit. My show, I try to bring in a little bit more variety of musical guests. I had my last guest was a guy that worked for Motown. He worked for Temptations. He was a manager.
Holy cow, that must have been like really interesting.
It was very interesting, and the guy's from Statesville, but he lives in Washington D.C. now, and he's actually works on Capitol Hill, so he's got a pretty important job up there. So he's got his political connections, and then he has his Motown connections. And
you think he went to the hearing today?
Yeah, he was there.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's there. He's I'm trying to think of what his actual position is. He's like chief of staff of the Congress. I don't know exactly what it is, but anyway, he's had a relationship with Motown for about 20 years, and the Temptations in particular is one of my favorites of all time. So it was very interesting.
Yeah.
The only downfall was he called from the airport.
Oh.
He was waiting on a plane. So
the good news is he didn't see the snake tied up in the fan.
Yeah,
so
that's one good thing about being a call-in guest, I guess. So, you guys do call-ins, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's pretty easy. Yeah. But yeah, the intercom on the the airport
now boarding flight.
Yeah, yeah. There's quite a bit of that. So, but still like we tell our listeners all the time, like, hey, listen, this is internet radio. We're not claiming to be, polished, professional.
Well, that's why you have us.
You're listening to blah blah blah. It's it's real talk. And I like that about you guys. You definitely got some real talk and some comedy and some interesting guests and stuff.
Cool.
And we're real happy and pleased that you decided to come on board.
Yeah, no doubt.
I know you were probably skeptical when you saw the internet radio.
No, man.
The Craigslist ad. But I was like, hey, why not put it on there? And,
it's again, it's partnership and trying to pull each other up by each other's bootstraps.
If you get a few new fans out of it, for us, if we get some downloads. And speaking of, make sure.
Go ahead and plug that. Let's go ahead and do it.
The States Vegas Radio app is available on the App Store. I always want to say iTunes for some reason. It's not iTunes, it's the App Store.
Is it?
I still call it iTunes.
iTunes App Store. I just combine them.
Yeah, well, it's the App Store. Go to the App Store, and that's if you have an iPhone or whatever. And then it's also available at Google Play. It's a 100% free app. It takes 5 seconds to download to your phone.
Yep.
I've got our little skull and crossbones logo. Don't be frightened by it.
It did scare me though. I was like, oh no. It had like a Goonies look to it with the headphones. So
Willie
and all his rich stuff.
That's part of the States Vegas thing. We actually do a gospel music show on Sunday mornings from 8 to 12.
Oh wow!
Where we play all kinds of contemporary, all the way, and classic stuff. Bluegrass, gospel, and a little bit of everything. And we have a couple of pastors that do a little spoken word in between some of the songs, but. In advertising that on Facebook, I was like, I might have to do a little something different from the skull for the gospel.
You should put him in a tie.
Gospel show. Well, I did a gothic type cross.
Got it.
A little less scary.
Yeah.
I think I still had my little skull guy in the bottom corner. Hoping that it didn't.
Just put States Vegas 316 on there.
Oh,
there you go.
Actually, that's really good.
Yeah, that's a good
well
idea,
done, sir.
Man. Yeah, steal that.
Yeah. We won't charge you anything for it.
But anyway, the app is 100% free. You can also listen to it on the desktop at StatesVegasRadio.com.
Is it suitable for work?
Yeah. Okay. During the day, we keep it pretty
until our show comes
pretty
on.
Calm, yeah.
And then it goes downhill from there.
It is. I think on at the App Store it's rated 12 and over. I think so.
Okay.
I'm sure probably it's just for some of the musical content.
Yeah, a few of the rap songs, of course. But being the mobile DJ, I have to have radio edited stuff too.
Sure.
So most of it's pretty clean. I think there might be something in there and. Brandon might slip a swear word in every now and then. That's it's 8 o'clock at night. So.
Nobody has virgin's ears anymore. Yeah. I mean, my cardiologist when he does a biopsy, he has like 90s R&B ghetto, not ghetto, but gang rap.
The Ice Cube, the Ice T.
I mean, so it's all the heavy stuff. So yeah,
well, I think that's one thing people like about it is the podcast and internet radio. It's real talk, like you said. It's not you sit down and talk to somebody like you would. Not
over a beer. You're front porch.
You're at the bar. You're at the gym. You're talking to somebody. You're not. You're not gonna. Prim and proper.
Yeah, right. You're not gonna. I'm not gonna hang out with you, like, in the world. That type of stuff. Yeah, it's just hanging out and doing your thing. So what's been something you talked about? Just the apps and trying to get people to understand. Is that one of your biggest challenges that you've had so far with this piece?
Yeah, I mean the app, there's strength in numbers. And, if I can go to somebody, an advertiser or another show and say, hey, we've got 3,000 downloads of our app, of course that's going to be powerful. And people want to know, how many people you got listening. And it's like, and like I said, the best exposure we've gotten so far is our Facebook Live videos. And people can do that too. They can go like our page on Facebook, StatesVegas Radio. And we hope that the guests share it and get it out there, and we hope that somebody that's listening will say, well, let me get this app, let me see what this is about, because it doesn't take up any room on your phone.
It's really, really small. So if you are just listening to the show and you want to pick up, it's a tiny app. Go download it, listen to it, and the variety of music is really cool, and I like that. And you can also get all the other talk shows and even on your website, and it gives you the list of all the different shows.
Yeah, we've got our host and stuff on there. We've got the different shows, and like I said, that's changed a lot because we've had a show, 2 episodes, and it goes bye.
Right,
and
that's really tough, especially for podcasters. And Brandon and I were talking about it, is just most shows don't go past 10.
Right.
So if you've got 12 or 20 or for us we're at 91, that's kind of a rarity to have.
91 is impressive. That's very impressive. Brandon, like I said, with Appetite is up to 28, and I give it to him. He is very thorough, and he's had some issues, and I'm sure you guys probably had you get the canceled guest.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we had some
the canceled host. That's our biggest issue.
Someone flies to India.
Yeah, for a month.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do, but again, Jeremy stepped in and took care of us for us. So.
Yeah. But in saying that, again, I'll put it out there for some of your listeners. If anybody's, I know there's a distance issue with us, but if somebody lives in my area and they're interested in putting together some kind of show, they got an idea, I'm all for it. I would help produce it. I tell them they're not, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's not going to be, super polished. It's not going to be, amazing, but give it a try. I mean. If you really want to do it, but commit to it. And unfortunately, like I said, I had a few.
It's tough. It's tough.
They figure out it's work, including the daughters. It's,
Sure.
But if anybody wants it, just email me at StatesVegasRadio@gmail. Send me an idea. If there's anybody out there that's got a show and they want to be on, like you guys, send it to me. If it's if it's feasible, I'll get it on there.
Awesome.
Why not?
Strength in numbers, right?
Strength in numbers, right?
Cool.
Right.
Well, Julius, thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate you. Brandon, did you have any questions?
No, I think you guys covered it all.
You couldn't get it past me. I told you I'm a talker.
You guys are sitting over talking like 2 13-year-old teenage girls at lunch. I mean,
sorry.
Brandon. Speaking of guests not showing up, he had a no-show for his show, and his show usually goes about an hour. And he said, I don't have anybody. He said, you want to be my guest?
Yeah.
The show, it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. It was like double every other episode they ever had, because I get rolling, I start blabbing. And
our first episode on States Vegas, it was Jeremy White, and I love Jeremy.
Yeah.
Great dude. But dude will talk, but I don't want to stop it, because it's really good stuff.
Yeah, as long as it's got something to say. I don't know exactly if I did, but we were talking local politics. And
that'll do it.
Well, I was actually I ran for city council of Statesville. So,
oh wow!
So I got my opinions on stuff like that. But But anytime you get to talking politics, it can definitely go long. We try to stay away from that most of the time. I like my stuff to be fun and lighthearted and a little bit goofy.
Mojo will stick it in there every once in a while. That was a bad choice of words. Sorry.
Well, yeah, but you hate that too.
Anyway, well, Julius, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you. If anybody wants to look at the app, again, go to the iTunes store, whatever the app store, Google Play. We'll have all that information on our show notes. Cool. So if you want to go check out and the Facebook page, you can go like that as well.
States Vegas Radio.
StatesVegasRadio.com. Cool. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys, man. I really appreciate it.
Once again, everyone, we appreciate you tuning into the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. You can go check us out at our website at southernfriedphilosophy.com. You can actually play that from the desktop. Not that I have ever had before, but you can also go to Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. God, I can't remember
and
now.
States Vegas Radio.
Yeah, also there. That's where you can listen to us there live. Or at your leisure, whenever you'd like to. I forgot what else I need to say.
That's it. And as always,
pack it up.
Keep looking up.